Let's do a little thought experiment. We're going to jump into the very near future, say December 13th, 2025. Just by looking at a single day's news, we can start to see the absolutely mind-boggling scale and speed of the AI boom that's happening all around us.
Okay, just look at this number, $350 billion. That's how much US tech companies are on track to spend on AI infrastructure in 2025 alone. Not over a decade, in a single year. That's more than the entire GDP of some countries, all poured into chips, servers, and data centers. It is an absolutely staggering amount of cash.
And a number like that immediately brings up the biggest question in tech right now. Is all this spending a genius bet on the future? Or are we just watching the biggest, most expensive bubble in history inflate right before our very eyes? Honestly, the stakes just could not be higher. To even begin to answer that question, we have to zoom out. Because this isn't just about a few companies in Silicon Valley. No, this is about entire countries making these colossal strategic bets that are probably going to define the rest of this century. Because remember that $350 billion from 2025? Well, it turns out that's just a down payment. The total spend on AI infrastructure is projected to hit $4 trillion by 2030. $4 trillion. That's the real scale of this gamble, and it's forcing every major global power to choose its strategy very, very carefully. And this is where things get really fascinating, because we're seeing two very different strategies play out. The US is going all in, just pouring money into building the most powerful, most advanced frontier AI models. But China? They're taking a different approach. They're directing their capital into industrial applications, things you can touch, like electric vehicles and robotics. It's this incredible contrast, You could say the US is betting on building the ultimate brain, while China is focused on building the body. Now, whenever you have this much money sloshing around the system, it's going to create some serious waves. And in the corporate world, that means we're seeing some very clear winners and some pretty nervous losers. A perfect example of a winner, Oracle. This is a legacy tech giant that has totally reinvented itself by landing this massive Stargate deal to build the infrastructure for OpenAI. It's gotten to the point where Wall Street basically sees Oracle's stock as a direct bet on the AI boom itself. If you're bullish on AI, you're buying Oracle. But of course, not everyone is a believer. On the complete other side of that bet, you've got a private equity titan like Apollo Global. They're so worried that AI is just going to hollow out traditional enterprise software that they've started aggressively shorting it. They are literally betting that these older, established companies are going to fail, and fail faster than anyone expects. And if you want to see just how sensitive, how jittery the market is, look at Broadcom. Their stock plummeted 11% in one day. Not because their AI business was bad, not at all. It was because their sales forecast wasn't as ridiculously amazing as investors were hoping for. It just goes to show you there is absolutely zero room for error in this game.
So, let's step back from all the market madness for a second. What is all this money actually for? What's the next great technological leap that all these labs are racing to be the first to grab?
Well, the holy grail, it seems, is something called continual learning. See, right now, most AIs are like a photograph. They get trained on a massive snapshot of data, and then that's it. They're frozen. Continual learning is the quest to turn that photograph into a live video, an AI that can keep learning and adapting from new information long after it's been released, kind of like we do.
Now, the promise here is obviously enormous, an AI with real, human-like adaptability. But the peril? Well, the peril is just as big. Engineers are running into these huge roadblocks, like something called catastrophic forgetting. It's this weird problem where an AI learns something new, and in the process, it completely wipes out an old skill it used to have. Plus, how do you even keep an AI safe when it's constantly changing its own programming?
And you can bet that big companies are already making moves to get ready for this future. Take the IT giant TCS. They just spent $700 million to buy Coastal Cloud, a US consultant. And this wasn't just some random acquisition. They did it specifically to get ready for a world where every business out there is going to need help implementing these next-gen, constantly learning AI systems. But this whole race to the future, this $4 trillion gamble, it's not just happening on stock charts and in server racks. It's having a really profound and often totally unseen impact on the physical world all around us. Because you have to remember, all of this digital stuff needs a physical home. It requires massive, real-world construction, and that has created a huge hidden cost, a consequence that most of us never even think about.
The frantic pace of data center construction is creating this huge labor vacuum. It's sucking up all the skilled electricians, engineers, and construction crews. And guess what they're not building? Our public works projects. Your local and state governments just can't compete with the salaries a big tech is offering. And the result is delays in the essential things we all rely on: schools, roads, hospitals, water systems, you name it.
And that really leaves us with a final, pretty tough question, doesn't it? This incredible, expensive push for artificial intelligence, this grand gamble on a digital future, what if it's coming at the direct expense of our progress in the physical world? It's a massive trade-off we're all making, whether we realize it or not, and we are only just beginning to understand what it truly means.